My name is the 4Closer, not closure, closer, number 44. I'm in real estate. Not very creative, but so they just call me 4. But then back then, you had positions 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they'd say, okay, I'm like, just call me by my name, please. So I go by 4. It's just easier now. About 2009, went through hard times in 06, like with family and deaths in the family, and thought, I'm gonna do something for myself. I was at a birthday party at Roller King, like with my, at that time, probably 6-year-old, and they had this little flyer for Sacred City and go try out. My friend, I'm in a book club. My friend and I are in a book club, but hey, why don't we go try out for roller derby? So we did the 2-minute lap, timed in jeans and rental skates. I lost a big toenail that day. But I had skated artistic skating, so it was awesome because just that feeling once you've skated growing up, and then to have some sort of sport for yourself as you get older and to be on a team, it was really exciting. I was about 8 until about 13. And then I played basketball, volleyball through high school and college, and, got a job, stayed fit, just working out wise, but then missed being on a team. I really missed that camaraderie and expectation. People needed you to show up, to be there. I'm super busy in my real world, so I've got my schedule. Demanda and I were just talking about it. It's like our phones are like our schedule, and it's like you have to carve that time out for yourself and you make that commitment to your team. And I know at that time in my life, I really was just wanting to be part of something. So it was a great fit. I absolutely have to be busy. I get way less done if I have free time. So I'm just one of those people that I'm planned out 2-3 months in advance. Kids' schedules on the refrigerator, You got the little whiteboard. We've got everybody in different colors. So, and I have a super supportive family. So they make it happen so I can travel. And my boys are in love with derby, so that makes it easy too. In fact, they're super bummed they couldn't come this weekend. So I promised them both next year they could, my mom would bring them. So. Since 09, I started in February of 09 at Roller King with Sacred, just inside. It was in Roseville at the time, and I'm from Roseville, which is about 20 minutes outside of Sacramento. So now we practice in Sacramento. So that's a whole 20-minute drive that is really far. Just being competitive, the energy and just that drive to want to be better. And I think about getting older and just your body isn't what it was, or mine's not what it was 10 years ago, and constantly having to ensure that I can continue to play this sport. So I think that's what drives me the most, so that I can be there for my team, because I know they depend on me. I always say that I appreciate every opponent because you learn from them, you take away from a game things that you can always do better. So I'm, as a person, that the drive that you get for wanting to do better the next time, sometimes my personality doesn't always go well with a person maybe who hasn't played a team sport. So that's also something I have to work on for myself, is to try to be positive, like be the one that's like, oh, you're doing great, because that's not my nature. My nature is, well, I mean, you should be doing that right. So I need to tell you what you're doing wrong so we can both get better. I like leaving a practice frustrated, or leaving a game super frustrated, so that you can mentally and physically try to change what you did wrong to make it better. So I think the team draws that from you, being on a team. It's really hard to do that in an individual sport, because like the spotlight's on you, where what you do is for your team. So I don't know, I think for me it's team and being competitive. Also within myself. You know, I'm competitive for my team, but then I have goals that maybe I want to meet when I take the track. But as far as when you're playing somebody, they are not my friend when we're on the track. And I think that's that persona also too. Like there's something that you internalize when you line up, and I have great respect for every person when I play against them, but they are not my friend. And I pray and hope they don't get hurt, you know, because it's rough and tumble out there. But I'm not gonna say I don't care, but it's, I mean, you are driving and you are intense. And I don't know, that feels good. That kind of Viking, animalistic, like that, it's like down deep. You have it, and I'm not saying you can't ever learn that, or I think just sometimes you're like that. So it's really hard for me to have grown up being super competitive and then all of a sudden have nothing. So that's what Derby gave me, was I got to have that like mean, intense, but then I could be nice like when we're done, you know. So because it's really hard for me to be mean like in real life. I mean, that's why you play. I mean, it's like I want to hit people and like just have that intensity. I like itch really bad. No. Yeah, we do. She totally like takes out and just slaps my face, and it's like, yeah, no. Just the black handprint everywhere. Only for Team Cruz, yeah. We do a little bit of that like glowing effect. It's actually to cover the wrinkles up. No, I actually profusely sweat. So most people, when they play me, I usually wear like a full like Under Armour, mostly because I'd feel horrible for them when I fall on the track. There is not enough people to volunteer to like mop that up. So out of respect for the other players, I usually will wear like full on to absorb the sweat. So there's no way like my face would just melt off. I did finally start wearing lipstick though, because I saw pictures and I was like, yeah, or rose-colored Vaseline. $2011, perhaps, or maybe even 2010. It was Dust Bowl. I think it was Dust Bowl. So that was awesome. Oh, what an experience. Because that's the other thing. I came into Derby, this was supposed to be fun. And I was like freshman fast track, 3 months. And then, hey, guess what? We have a game, and it's Denver, and we need a jammer. I never got to have like that fun, I don't care. Everything was always about rankings, and that's great. But after only skating 2 or 3 months, and I didn't know the rules, I didn't know anything. I just knew how to skate and get by people, and they used to call me Braveheart because I would like just go to the box, and I get fouled out my first game. And that was like Denver. Denver and Rocky Mountain were my first 2 games. They were like 1 and 2 in the world back then. So, I don't know. I always just tell myself nothing can be as bad as playing Denver. Because I think I was laughing, like, can you just let me go by? You guys are winning. Like, just let me go. So, yeah, I have to like calm the comedy when I'm on the track though. So I've learned to be a little more serious. Totally. Oh my gosh, yeah. No, it's like just that deep personality to just have fun and not care, but like you care about everybody, and just all the levels, like the skill levels that get to play, you're helping to just promote them, have confidence, and be part of that team, you know, because they're excited to be there. I'm excited to be there. People take time out of their lives for the weekend to travel, and so it's a fun time. Fun with my team, yeah. I also like to win, so, but I'm a positive loser and take away from trying to do better. You had like how many people? 25? 30 people? I think there was 40. I think I actually saw the guy that brings the water in. He brought like chairs. Although I'd have to say, like, in my mind, when you play a game like that, totally intense, to me the score itself didn't reflect like I mean, I was sore. I'm sure everybody was sore, but I don't know, the score doesn't always matter in a game like that. It's just every jam, just focus and play with the line that you're on at that time and work together. It was fun. It's the highlight of part of the reason why I choose to come to RollerCon, or when a game gets set up. Like, we went and played Bank Track in Orange County a couple months ago, and I had never played Bank Track before, and I totally want to play Bank Track again. That was fun. And I would never have gone outside the box or tried something like that if it hadn't have been for Team Cruz. So, and Gia set that up as well. So yeah, so I'm thankful. It was like an honor to be asked to be on the team, for sure. My 11-year-old, he could tell you every skate brand, skate color, helmet, uniform name. He's got everybody on lockdown with who these skaters are. And then when I leave a game, he's like, "Mom, why didn't you do that?" Or "Why, you gotta move your feet. Why are you like stuck behind the pack?" So he's an awesome critic, but he was there when we had the USARS scrimmage. He was like, "Mom, I kinda like this game better." Yeah. So just 2009, I mean, I started there. I would say they were top 100 team as far as like in the evolution of Derby. Chicoloca branched off from another local league in Sacramento, and she built it from nothing, and just, it's kind of like Renegade, like all these people that just wanted to play and have fun, and they got real serious. They became woofed super quick. And then I came in kind of towards people were retiring and leaving, hence the first game against Denver. And ever since, in like any league, I would say it's like ebb and flow. We live in a different pocket of a city where I would say people are more commuting, very family oriented. So we have to cater our practices around, I would say, our demographics of our skaters. We did secure a really awesome facility in Sacramento. We practice at a warehouse, and we're working really hard this year. We're going to host the playoffs at the Memorial Auditorium, which is just beautiful. So we're really focused, and have been for the last couple months. When we found out we were granted that honor of holding the playoffs, and so we've been working really hard to prepare for that. And I don't know, it's just been, they're just there, they're part of your family. It's really neat. I'm very thankful to have all of Sacred in my life, because, I've had times with work where it's like, I try to, and then we have a lot of skaters, they try to be at every practice. You try to, that's your workout, that's your me time, your focus time. But there are times you have to have balance, and you have to let your team know, hey, I have this going on with work, or I don't want to take an LOA. So are you guys cool with me coming once a week? And everybody's really understanding. So I appreciate that about my team. I didn't say I liked it. It's a lot of work. It's fast. No, it was fun. It was fun. The difference is definitely less, obviously, stopping. I like it when I think about it, and then like about 20 minutes in, after you've like I'm not a speed skater. I'm your sprinter. I'll just run the sprint and then I'm done. So I'm having to learn to be a long distance runner in USARS. So that's a challenge, right? I mean, that's just another part of Derby, and being able to understand the rules and translate that physically, and take your strengths and try to make them stronger, and also find out where your weaknesses are. And I definitely, for me, that was eye-opening when I played that scrimmage. Was, wow, I really need to work on my legs being able to handle the longer jams where you're sprinting, you know, for a longer period of time. Because I'm not your typical size jammer. I think for me, I know that when I started derby, nobody skated backwards. I think I was the only one that had toe stops on my team, because that's just how I always skated, was with toe stops. I think actually Coach D made fun of me. Just put that out there. And it was funny because then shortly after, everybody had toe stops. And then about a year later, all of a sudden this backward blocking thing like took precedent. So these were things naturally for me as an artistic skater that I was like, why don't we turn around? Like, then you can see them. It's just easier. Time and a place for it. I totally get that. But what I love, especially now, about having access to derby, East Coast, West Coast, internationally, is I would say even in 2009, let's say we had DNN, right? And you could read it, but you didn't always get to watch it. So what we were doing in California was totally at times different than the East Coast. And unless you physically were there, you couldn't experience these innovative changes that were going on. And that's where I think for me, part of the challenge mentally was, well, how can I always want to do things different. How can I do things different? And the artistic side of skating was exciting because I could use my toe stops and, you know, do a 360 and have the counterbalance that the artistic skating offered. Very similar to skateboarding or snowboarding, because I am an avid snowboarder, and that comes natural, that sort of counterbalance and gravity and force. So I think for me, that probably was my easier for me to learn when it came to derby, because I already had that experience and the footwork just from artistic skating. It helps those that take the time to watch it. You know, when you're coming into derby, I'm a visual learner, and I know there are a lot of skaters who are. So I think that physically as well, your body can only take so much of practice. You know, you do have to cross-train. You have to do other things that give you advantage when you play a sport that's as physical as roller derby is. And the visual, repetitive viewing of higher level play absolutely will train your brain to, and I believe this with anything, you use examples to mimic, and you know, with rule changes and just styles, you know, the changes, I think watching derby is very important to better your skill as a skater individually and then for your team, for sure. And I believe that you have to be able to use your mind, because your body can only absorb so much impact when you're playing. I think for me, playing derby, right, so you tell your family, hey, I'm gonna play derby, and my kids are too little, they don't even know what's going on or what mom's doing, you know, after they go to bed. And I never thought about ever getting hurt playing roller derby. So it's never, it doesn't cross my mind. I don't think about it. And we were at Big O, and I actually really feel like it was one of those karma things that we just had new helmets sent. And in fact, I even brought my old helmet that I had already hit my head with the old helmet. And Dirty said, oh, you have to wear this helmet. Well, I don't like to put new things on before. I don't like change. I don't like itchy stuff. Cut the tags off. I don't want anything to change, right? Like, you should see my skates. They are from 2009. I wear the same skates. I like my stuff the same. And so she's like, no, you know, that we really need to make this happen. This is great. And it is and was great. Fine, put it on. What was really awesome is stock out of the box, I wasn't comfortable. This just really was uncomfortable for me. Oh no, we have these pads. Let's, you know, work on that. Fit perfect. out of the box. And for somebody who doesn't like change and doesn't like, because again, that's a mental thing. This was something different. I felt comfortable and confident enough. I didn't think about it once I was on the track. But thankfully, I had switched helmets because we were playing Victorian, and I actually think the footage itself, everybody's backs were to the camera. But as I came around, one of the Victorian skaters literally had her shoulder under my armpit, and I got lifted up off the ground, and all that hit first was my head. And I remember laying there, and I could hear the ref asking me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I could feel the tingling from the helmet, and I literally could feel it just flow across the top of the helmet. And I opened my eyes and was like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe I'm okay." And that was that moment of fear. I mean, it was like the last jam in the first half, and I was telling you that I got up, I finished the jam. Like, I was able to get back up, know that I was okay, because if I wasn't okay, I would have just not put myself back out there, because I'm not that stupid sometimes. But in that case, when you come to a head injury, absolutely not. I knew I was okay. And a little bit of me was like, I can't believe I'm okay. This is crazy. Like, she literally lifted me up off my skates, and that's all that hit. And I weigh a lot. That's the force coming down. I mean, that's insane. Finished the jam. It was halftime, and this is the part that really is emotional for me, because it's one of the first big tournaments that my family traveled to. Everybody was there. My kids were there. My mom was there. We had family from Oregon that were there. And all I could see when I watched the footage was my mom running. And I mean, it was tough. I could tell she was panicked, and you don't ever want to it's like at that moment, it's like, what am I doing? You know, why am I putting myself in a situation like that? But then after a week, you know, you're fine with that. And I was in that moment. But I know as a parent, and you know, and watching my mom running in the footage to where I was getting off the track, obviously she was scared. So I know the people watching, I mean, I think it was one of those moments where like everybody just shut down. They weren't quite sure if I was going to be okay. And if I had not had your helmet on, I don't think I would have been okay. I really think they would have had to take me to the hospital. And I know they would have. So that was really changing for me. And that was that first moment that I thought, wow, I could kind of probably get hurt doing this, you know? As long as my moneymaker, my hands are okay, I can type, and my brain's okay, I'm good. So thank you. Thank you for making sure we recovered that day, because I don't know, you put yourself in a situation like that, and people can be okay, but then sometimes you're not, and you hate to think about that, but it takes one time. You know, and I know people who've had multiple concussions that still play, and that's fine, but make sure you're wearing the right gear. Make sure that you're covering yourself in a sport that the chances of you hitting your head are pretty high. You have wheels on. I mean, you're gonna rock backwards at some point. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Water, I need water. Hey, Demanda, get my water.